It's the best time of the week, time to listen to the Three Brothers. Forget your garlic and your leeks and listen to the Three Brothers. It's fat-free, sugar-free, dairy-free, soy-free, and free from gluten and priestcraft too. If you click this accidentally, stick around. You might learn a thing or two. Chuck on a shirt, tie and shorts, and crack yourself a brew without any further ado. We are coming at you. Three brothers, juxtapositions, and midnight ramblings for sure. Three brothers, don't forget you get what you pay for. Three brothers, so come on down, don't even worry about it anymore.
Three
Brothers.
Three brothers.
Three brothers.
Oh, that's
I don't know. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Three Brothers podcast. We are your hosts, your favorite or maybe least favorite, Three Brothers.
brothers.
Probably your least favorite, more than likely, and we're fine with that. Thank you for joining us. Welcome again to the podcast this week. Ammon and myself are not enrolling and enlisting in the army, although it looks like we are. That's just a absolute happenstance that we happen
Colour
to
choice.
both be wearing khaki coloured shirts or whatever colour it is. All right, so
Unless
welcome.
Canada's recruiting, and then we
I'm
might be in.
I'm in.
That would
All
be-
right, well, let's.
That would be pink.
They wear pink shirts in Canada's army.
With
We
a
like
big
to
old
stand
rainbow across the back.
We like
Big
to
old-
stand out in our battles.
Oh, yeah.
I like to let people know,
the only
mate,
thing
I
that
think
we're
we'll stand.
fighting is bigotry and white supremacy.
Blending in is not what we're about. We like to stand out. All right. Good intro. Ready? Hang on.
I'm hanging.
He's hanging.
How did we do from me to you? I wanna follow up. Yeah.
All right. That's where we begin. Follow up, people. So, if you recall, the spiritual thought and the commitment from last week was to study that one lesson being why are many called and few chosen, and to study that a bit. So I actually did do a bit of study on it this week, which was cool. And I mean, to cut a long story short, I guess what I got out of it is it really reiterated to the fact to me that many are called, but we need to choose to be chosen. We need to choose to be chosen, and we choose to be chosen through our actions, our obedience, our covenant keeping, all of these things, and to stop having our hearts set on other things. If you recall the scriptures in section 121? Section 121. The problem is that we have our hearts set on other things, Babylon and other things, the things of the world. So to remove our hearts from those things, to focus on good things, to focus on the Savior, to focus on Zion, and to prove and to choose to be chosen by proving ourselves through our obedience and covenant keeping and things like this. So focusing on the right things. So that was really good to study that this week. And I watched as part of that was Elder Bednar's talk. I think his talk is literally called "Many Are Called, Few Are Chosen." I think that might even be the name of the talk, which was pretty good. And aside from that, nothing else really going on in my life this week that's worth mentioning. Went on a little farm stay holiday with my family, and my kids got to play with farm animals and things like that for a couple of days. That was really nice. But aside from that, it's the same old stuff. And so, how about you guys?
Just over the past week, I did go in and out of that topic. I was talking to some of the students in seminary, and we were talking about the Ten Commandments, and specifically we put some focus onto the commandment to not covet your neighbor's stuff. You know, it's like don't covet their animals or wives or all that sort of stuff. And we went into it, and it made me think that, you know, the Lord's not saying you shouldn't have a car or that you shouldn't have a house or you shouldn't have a, you know, money in your pocket or whatever, but it's about wanting those things to the point where you're trying to get it from somebody, or you're trying to get it in ways that are not ethical or not the Lord's way, or that it becomes the focus of your life. So you see the guy down the street has a really nice car, and it becomes your absolute focus to obtain said thing above all other things. Like you put the obtaining of that car or the same type of car or even that guy's car or wife or whatever above the things that are more important. And it then becomes like your idol. It then becomes like the thing that you truly love more than the things that you're supposed to give your love to, you know? It starts to sort of border on breaking some of the other commandments, you know, like worshiping something. And it's funny that during the week, I sort of felt that, you know, I'll even mention it here. I sort of felt that a friend of ours was, you know, on social media posting so much about this one particular topic that I was like, hey, man, that almost sort of borders on like worshiping that thing. Like you post so much about it and you're telling everyone that if you have a differing opinion, that you must be crazy. When I think it's reasonable to have a differing opinion on most things. Um, and I think you're at a point now where it's like it's become the thing that you love and obsess over to the point of almost worshiping it. And I don't mean you got a shrine, but like just be careful, like ease up a little bit because it's almost bordering on like the commandment breaking sort of side of having idols before God and all that sort of stuff. And they completely lost it in a million different ways, which I thought was a strange reaction. But it just reminds me that that focus is really, really important. And if what our focus is on like politics or physical things, like owning things, or you know having more than somebody else or whatever, it almost becomes like a thing of worship. And how are we then prioritizing our relationship with the Lord? How are we then becoming more like Jesus Christ? How are we then becoming examples so that we can bring others onto Jesus Christ? I think it just makes it really hard and puts a wedge between us and God. So,
Yeah, it's true. This one's a really hard one for me because everyone knows, you know, my first true love, Canada. It's hard to, you know,
you
break
hated
that.
that place.
I hated it. I hated it so bad. I love, dude. I shouldn't say that. Canada, the land was like,
The land is great. Yeah.
oh man, like it has some landmarks and some beauty to it from British Columbia to you skip you know Saskatchewan and Manitoba for the most part, but I mean just gorgeous land. But man, just some crazy people and basically they're just like 20 years ahead of the United States. So it's like 80% of them just turn out to be insane and 20% are like how do we deal with these insane people? Like, so it's like they're
Mm.
totally normal. Like 20% of them are totally normal, and they're like, dude, we love Americans. These people are crazy. Like, I don't. How do you deal with it? And then it's like America now is turning into that, where it's like, you know, oh my goodness, like they're doing trans stuff in the schools, and like 80% of people are like, you bigot, and you're like, what just happened? I'm now the minority. And then like you 20% just like huddle in the corner of the room. And you're like, what happened? How do I deal with this? So yeah, no, Canada was just 20 years ahead. They're always like 20 years ahead down the crazy train than the rest of us. But yeah, this study, this one lesson, I definitely we've been doing this in the Understanding Revelation, right? Focusing on this once again, the you're not dying, the you know, it's the world lieth in sin because it's not meet for one man to possess that which is above another. And Ammon hit it there. What's your desire? Like, are you desiring to work for stuff so that you can have stuff that other people don't have? Like, is that your goal or is your goal Zion? Are you laboring for stuff so that you can help everyone? Right? So that you know, the whole saying, the rising water raises all boats. Like,
Yep.
it, the idea of it, though, if you actually understand Zion and what we're truly laboring for, we're supposed to not be laboring for the boat. We're supposed to be laboring to raise the water. Like that's the idea of Zion, where the idea of meritocracy, the idea of the world, the idea of Satan is how do I get my boat? How do I raise my boat? How do I make sure that I'm okay and the water will take care of everyone else? And that's just not the way it works. We're supposed to be laboring for Zion. For those who labor for money shall perish. You know, it's the what are we trying to accomplish at the end of this? And so, yeah, I love that. Definitely did study this, released it in the Three Brothers, or not the Three Brothers, the Understanding Revelation. Everything's the Three Brothers. Three dabs, the Three Brothers. But yeah, so been a pretty good week as well. No one died. That's always good. It's getting a little warmer here, so that's good. The baby's still alive. The little bean's still around, so we're almost out
Oh,
of the
that's
first
so
trimester.
good.
So
That's
Good to
so
hear.
good.
looks like Zoe might be on her way. So
Oh,
that's good.
Is that the name?
that's
Yeah, Zoe.
Oh, cute
oh,
as.
that is so sweet.
I
Oh,
don't, you haven't told us that before. Well, at least I didn't know
that's
it. That's cute as.
I like to live react on this. This is sweet.
Yeah, cute. Love it.
That's so cool, man.
Very cool.
I thought
Makes it
I thought you
really
said
real,
before
doesn't it?
before you said three dabs, and I was like, I thought you said three dads, and I was like, oh yeah, we are just three dads.
That's true.
That's all we are. We're just the three dads, and
With
I'm
three
cool
dads,
with that.
the three dads, the three
We
dad
are
bots.
the three dads that everyone could ask for. The three best
The three best dads that anyone could have.
That's it.
Cool.
Oh, Canada, land of the free, home of the brave. I assume that's the Canadian anthem. I don't know.
Very good.
Don't act like you don't know.
Don't act
Don't
like you
act-
don't know.
Don't
You
act like you're
shill.
not a Canadian shill.
Speaking of live reactions, man, I'm looking forward to Ammon and Topher's thoughts on this next one.
well,
All right, hit it.
let's jump into it.
We've got to rent. Yeah, we've got to rent. Oh, it's the rent of the week. Yeah.
Classic. She's a classic.
You know, I am really disappointed because I am noticing how few of these relate to Canada. But here we go. Here we go, dude. Okay.
Before you start, so everyone knows, Ammon and I don't know what this is about, and for your information, we don't know about pretty much most of the things we're going to be talking about in this podcast, and most of the weeks it's the same. So most of these are live reactions. So we've been excitedly waiting for Micah to share whatever this is.
That's how we roll. So when people think this is like pre-planned or no. Me and Ashley cook this stuff up and then we just throw it to the Aussies live, and these are all live reactions. So these are live reactions. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the 25-minute thing, right? The 25-minute moving and some of the problems that will occur with that. Okay.
Yeah.
So we had a sacrament meeting. Two members of the priesthood, the elders quorum, you could say, gave talks to sacrament meeting. We then get to the priesthood, which this week was priesthood. Now, before anybody gets upset at me, you're like, I can't believe that you're sharing this live. Trust me, if it was much more uncomfortable to be there live in person, and if we're okay with it happening in the classrooms, we're okay with everyone having a good laugh about it now, right? Let's just ease the tension a little bit and laugh about it now. So we go to the elders quorum. They're decided they're going to try to kind of prepare for this, okay, in the future by doing 2 lessons this week, okay? So like one 25-minute that kind of feeds into the other 25 minutes. So basically, can we break this up into 2 25-minute segments, if that makes sense? They kind of feed into each other. So like faith is the first part and the second part's hope or something like that. Like that was the idea of it, okay? So as you would expect, the first one went about 40 minutes. It went about 40 minutes, and 2 men were sitting in the front, and they just kept raising their hand one after the other, like back, and they just like, I have something to say to that. I have something, and they just talked the whole time. It got to the very end where the guy literally raised his hand and said, you know, I don't even know what this story has to do with anything that we're saying here today, but I feel like that I should share it. And then he proceeds to share this just random story that had nothing whatsoever to do with anything we were just talking about. And then it was like, oh, okay, thank you. Anyway, okay, that wraps up this section, okay? So then the other guy stands up. Now, this is the funny part. This other guy stands up. He's got like 15 minutes left on the clock, okay? He walks right up. This is the first thing he says. He goes right up, taps the pulpit. I've been in this branch now for 30 years. I've given about, I don't know, 50 talks over those 30 years, and I just have to say one thing. All of your talks suck. They're they're all That's how he started. That's
awesome.
literally his opening line. They're all subpar and they're all boring. And your Elder's Quorum lessons aren't much different. They all suck. They're all boring. And the two people who gave the sacrament talk are sitting there. One of which is one of the two guys that was talking the whole time. And the guy raises his hand, one of the guys, and he goes, "You shut up. You've talked for 20 minutes." And you've talked enough. You've talked for 20 minutes. You're done. Points right at him. You've talked for 20 minutes. You're done. I only got 5 minutes left, and God help me, I'm gonna get through this. And dude, hilarious. Just absolutely throws and then it's like, okay, I know that my lesson is supposed to be about how we're supposed to become facilitators and how we're supposed to ask questions and get you guys to participate, but you guys took all my time. And so I can't do that. So I'm just going to have to talk to you guys for the last 5 minutes. So, forgive my bad example on this. And then proceeds to just rail on us. And then, once again, finishes how? We all need to learn how to become better teachers. We all need to learn how to become better teachers. And you know how we're going to have to learn how to become better teachers? Guess who he points to how we need to learn to become better teachers? He wants us all to subscribe to these Priestcrafters. He wants us all to go to these Priestcrafters to learn.
Go to the podcasts.
Go to the podcast. We can learn how to become better teachers together, and then we can come together. So in one lesson, everything I said about hurting people's feelings, telling people to... I didn't think it was going to be that abrupt. I didn't think he would literally say, hey, you've talked for 20 minutes, shut your trap. I didn't think it was going to be... But literally, all of it in one lesson. This is the problems that you're going to have to deal with in your 25-minute class. This is it.
Yep. Wow. I'll tell you, I paid really close attention to that this week because I'm thinking to myself, just see how this lesson goes this week, and imagine if the teacher only had the full 25 minutes from woe to go, from like beginning to end. And I noticed our lesson didn't start till 10:40, which means that it didn't start until there's 20 minutes left of the hour. That's when he started to talk. So for the first 40 minutes, it was waiting for people to sit down. Hey, brethren, how is everyone's week? Yeah. Oh, I was just thinking, like during the week, blah, blah, blah. That's how, I don't know about your guys' Elders Quorum, like Mike has just shared some absolute insanity from his, but mine is it's always like a super slow moving process because they're always trying to avoid the lesson. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you guys get that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Always
I don't
trying to
let it
push-
happen. They do. I get that feeling. I don't let it happen. I hustle them in. But yes.
Always trying to avoid the lesson. Slow it down, push the time. And they don't, I think they're doing it subliminally. They're just like, oh, brethren, how are we? Yeah, hey. Nah, dude, if I'm teaching that day, I'd be like, yeah, cool, you're all done?
I want the
All right,
whole
cool,
time.
we all good?
I need the whole time. Yeah.
I
run that
need
every
to
time.
start. Well, let's just go through this, brethren, before we get Ammon to get up and start his lesson today. Hey, how are you? Like, okay, dudes, come on, come on. Can I start my lesson? Oh, yeah. Sorry, Evan. Just a minute. Just a minute. Hey, we're actually going to invite the young men in today just to join in opening exercises. It'll just take a minute. And then the young men waddle in, take 10 minutes to waddle in. Hey, brethren, you guys don't spend much time with young men, so here they are, just so you can see them. Cool. Yeah, so we're going to split now. Okay. All right, Ammon, you can start your lesson now. You've got 15 minutes. It's always the same. They always come up with a reason to waffle and do nothing. And oh, by the way, take now you can jump in and do a lesson. It's not going to work, man. I'm telling you. My ward, don't know about your guys, and Micah's it's not going to work, but mine ain't going to work.
Yeah, mine. I that they try to do that. I get that feeling, and the previous elders quorum president kind of he wasn't too bad, but all my elders sit in the hall. They'll sit in the hallway, and I'm going to try and
Yeah.
hustle them in. Like they don't want to come in. Not that they don't want to, but they're all out talking the whole time. And if I didn't hustle them all in, yeah, we'd start at 10:45. And I also I get this impression or this feeling that some of that stems from, especially if it's like whoever's doing the lesson. Like sometimes I wonder if there's a fear of teaching, a fear of failure, a fear of whatever it is, anything to delay that and to shorten the amount of teaching time, to
I
a
agree.
minimum. Yeah,
I agree.
I'm the opposite of that. I want all the time. Give me all the time.
Me
I
too.
need the whole hour.
Mm.
I never get it, but give me as much time as I can get. I run out of time every single time. And inevitably, so do they, because what happens is exactly what happens in Micah's today is that some old bloke or a couple of them, they get no opportunity to talk about anything all week, especially gospel related. And so here's my opportunity to pipe up and say things, even if I can see clearly this story has nothing to do with anything
Yeah.
going on. But you know what? I feel like, and you know what? It's the spirit telling me I need to share this random story that has nothing to do with anything and has not uplifting at all right now and waste the whole, the whole
Yeah.
lesson.
You know why they do it? I mentioned this to Micah, I think, in Discord during the week. Captive audience. 2 words.
Oh, yeah. They have to sit there.
As
They
soon as
have to.
these old people or these weirdos get a captive audience and they know that when they start talking, people are forced to listen,
Yes.
it's like I finally get to tell people something and they have to hear it because no one else is listening to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what's funny? That was I actually said, because like I realized recently, I gave a talk in sacrament meeting maybe a month ago or something, and what I realized is I actually like giving sacrament talks. Like I like talking in sacrament
Because of the captive audience.
because yeah. So the part I don't like is because I'm so lazy, I hate preparing, right? So I hate preparing a talk, even though it's super beneficial and it's really, really good. It's a really good like opportunity and experience to go through each time. But the preparing part, I procrastinate on because I hate doing it. But the actual giving of a talk, I really, really like because yes, I know that everyone has to listen to me. So if I prepare well and I've got good things to say, and it's things I love to talk about because I'm going to talk about what I love, basically. I love that. Everyone is there and they have to listen to what I say. And
Yep.
not to big note myself, but I'll give a good talk. People will get something out of it. I get something out of it. I think everyone likes it. So I actually really enjoy that experience every time. But yeah, the captive audience thing, that's a really good point. People have
But
to
what
be
if
polite.
what if the guy gets up after you and he's like, Silver, I've hated your talks for 30 years.
I'd laugh, honestly.
Yeah, dude, I would laugh too. No one laughed. Dude, the tension was like you could cut it with a knife. I put my hands over my mouth and I just put my head down behind my chair. I was
That's
just
what-
like, someone's gonna hear me laugh. Like that was, and I'm telling you, you're gonna have to do this. This is the problem. You're gonna have to, but hopefully not so mean, right? Hopefully not so like you've talked for 20 minutes, shut your trap. Like you're gonna have to shut these people off. Like
Yeah.
you're just gonna have
You
to
won't have a
because
choice.
you won't have a choice unless you're okay. Unless you're okay just letting this person talk for 20 minutes. Unless you're okay with that. At which point then fine, count me out. I'm gonna be gone. I'm not gonna participate in this because I don't need to sit down and listen to this guy for 20 minutes. So like if you're
Yeah.
not gonna stop that, cool. I'll sit out in the hall. I'll be that guy. I'll read my scripture somewhere else or something because I don't need to hear a story about how this guy was walking down the street one day and said good morning to this lady, and this lady said F you, and I just went, wow, that's just wow. Why would somebody do that to me? And I had all these mean things that I wanted to say to her back, but I just didn't, and I just got back on my bike and kept going. Uh, Great. I'm super
Yeah.
great that you actually stopped your bike thinking about responding to this lady. Like and then made the choice to keep going, and I should congratulate you. Like I would have even stopped on my bike. I would have just laughed and kept going. But like, but anyway, has nothing to do with the lessons, and I get to hear these stories for 20 minutes. Like, yeah, no thanks. So you're gonna have to shut these people down. You're gonna have to shut these people down. And I'll tell you what, you keep telling those two old gentlemen in the front, stop talking. You've had your time. They are not going to be okay with it. They have had
Hmm.
30 or 40 years in the church of that captive audience,
Oh yeah.
and you shut that off like that?
Yeah,
It's
going to make some people real angry.
I find it's kind of funny and interesting that it went exactly how we said it was going to go. Yeah,
Everything. Everything.
yeah,
And this
uh,
guy was sending out emails being like, subscribe to this thing. It only costs like $10 a month or something. And
oh man,
we had to like contact the branch president, and he was like, oh yeah, I'll talk to him and get it taken down. And he got it taken down. But it was like everything. Just check.
was it
And
his
that's what,
own thing he was making people subscribe to,
no,
or
it was
someone
somebody
else?
else.
Oh my goodness, what are you doing?
Hmm.
That's
Oh, and
crazy.
he kept repeating the same things. Our questions and our lessons are boring and uninspired, and we're not asking the right questions. He kept saying that over and over again, and then he kept pointing to this. So I'm like, that was clearly the talking points of some podcast that he had just listened to that were boring and then we're uninspired. We don't ask the right questions. And for $5.99 a month, we can help you with these inspired questions that you can ask your class every week. Like that's clearly what it was.
Man,
And yeah,
that's gross.
he came in and was just completely okay telling us we were uninspired and boring. Thank goodness I haven't given a talk in that branch yet.
Far out, man.
Jeepers.
That is gross.
Don't mind me. I had to just put on my standard issue Canadian military jacket.
That's what it would look like right
Just
now.
to,
Isn't that funny? That's like the trans flag colors. Like that's what that's literally the trans flag colors.
Or
Uh,
almost like 1960s Pepsi too.
yeah,
Or 1970s.
that's funny.
it's a mix
Uh,
of everything you guys love the most.
It's true.
Comment, comment, comment of the week. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
There is a law in there. 100% there's a law in there.
by the way, I forgot to say it, but the AI generated image for that last that Eldest Quorum fight that was a great image.
Yeah. That brought me to all sorts of places before you started speaking, by the way.
Yeah.
Uh, all right,
All right, who wants to
who's
read
reading
this? All right, who's doing the news? We'll do Topher can do this one, and then Ammon will go through the news
it? Okay,
since he's got
all
the
right.
Canadian jersey on.
Comment of the week from Jacob T. 3rd Nephi 11:12, and it came to pass that when Jesus had spoken these words, the whole multitude fell to the earth, for they remembered that it had been prophesied among them that Christ should show himself unto them after his ascension into heaven. The people, and so that must be the end of the scripture verse there, and so this must be the comment here. The people in 3rd Nephi were notable because they remembered the prophecies. They had been taught the words of the holy prophets, and when the great events began to unfold, they recognized what was happening. Their awareness did not come by accident. It came because they valued revelation, remembered the scriptures, and spoke often of the promises of God. That raises a sobering question for our own day. If the events preceding the great and dreadful day of the Lord were to unfold now, how many would recognize them? How many would understand what they were seeing? Many know of wars, disasters, and turmoil, yet far fewer know the prophetic events tied to the Lord's coming. How many would even know of Adam-ondi-Ahman, where sacred gatherings and divine purposes are yet to be fulfilled? How many understand the prophecy of the Lord coming suddenly to his temple, or his feet standing upon the Mount of Olives in deliverance and power? These are not obscure ideas in Scripture. They are part of the revealed pattern of the last days. Those who remember and understand these prophecies, watching with faith for their fulfillment, are precious and valuable in the sight of Christ and the kind of souls he would desire at his coming. Yet true readiness is more than knowing the signs, for we must be valiant in the testimony of Jesus. Really good comment. The thing that pops into my head after reading this, again, first time I've read this, is, and we've said this many times, probably like countless times, is that ignorance is a massive problem. Like just being ignorant, and this is kind of what this whole comment is kind of about, is how many people even know of these things, and being ignorant, unfortunately, is not an excuse, and it won't be an excuse, because if you don't know, I mean, let's leave Adam-ondi-Ahman to the side for a minute. Let's say you don't know about the New Jerusalem. How are you supposed to end up in a place you don't know about? How are you supposed to prepare for an event that you don't know about? How are you, and let's say you have an incorrect understanding of the second coming. Because half of my life, I literally, without ever having studied it, probably literally until my far out, probably even up until a few years ago, when we sort of started hanging around with Micah and Zion or Bust, my thoughts about the second coming were that it was going to be a great and dreadful day and come like a surprise, like a thief in the night, with no other sort of expectation of things happening beforehand. My understanding was completely wrong. So how can you be a part of events if your understanding of how they're going to unfold is completely incorrect? And so removing and remedying your ignorance, I think, is one of the first steps, one of the first things that we need to work on. And we've said that countless times. And I think you can't even ever let up on that, because there's still so many things that even we, like I'm anyone, like things that we don't know and understand still, things that I'm still learning and understanding and need to go over and over again because my memory's a sieve, it sucks. So, yeah, that is a sobering question. But removing ignorance, that's the first thing that stood out to me about this.
Ooh, there we go. Sorry, just taking myself off. Mute. This is really, really good, and it's something that, man, I feel like this Discord group, Zionobus group, has been such a beautiful blessing in my life is because we are discussing these things and bringing it to the front of our minds, in front of attention, in front of importance. Whereas I think most people are so committed to just getting by day and focusing on what's right in front of them that they're not thinking about a lot of these things. And it just reminded me when I started teaching seminary last year, because I'm not always, but I'm trying to make these things front of mind for myself. And I'm thinking about, like you were saying, things like the New Jerusalem and the prophecies that are made and about to come to pass. I'm always talking to the seminary students about these things because we're literally going over them in the Doctrine and Covenants. And then even in the Old Testament, I keep saying to these students, you might think that there's nothing modern and relatable to what you're going through today in the Old Testament, because we're talking about scriptures that were written literally 4,000 years ago. But that couldn't be further from the truth, because it talks about these specific prophecies that are going to come to pass and are coming to pass in your life right now. And so I've been heavy dosage on the restoration of the lost tribes. We're talking about that now, like what happens to these tribes of Israel. What happens? When do they come back? Where do they go when they come back? Zion, the New Jerusalem, the fulfillment of these prophecies. And I've been hitting them so hard that sometimes I think to myself, I wonder what these kids are going to tell their parents when they get home today. Because, every time they go to seminary, the parents are going to be like, hey, what did Brother Wilkes talk to you about today? And I always wonder, think it would be really interesting in my head to be a fly on the wall to see what they say.
They'll be teaching their parents things that they don't know. That's what's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other day, a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to one of the parents, and all of a sudden, about 4 or 5 of my seminary students pull up around the corner, and they're like, "Brother Ammon, sign the New Jerusalem, da 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 da." And Naomi's like, sorry, that's the name of the parent. She's like, "Ammon, my kids are at home telling me all the time that we need to be ready to move to America. We need to be ready. Not, we need to be ready now for when the Lord needs us to go to America and da da da." And the kids are coming in like, "Yeah, Jackson County, Missouri. We got to be ready. We've got to do this." And they're loving it, but they're fully serious. Like, because I've just been giving them the doctrine and giving them the prophecies and showing them scriptures, showing them the quotes, giving them information. They're actually going home and teaching their parents about this stuff. And Naomi, this parent, keep saying the name, she's like, "Yeah, I don't know anything about it, but the kids just keep teaching me about it all the time." And that family just went to America, and they got back on Sunday. And I said, "Oh, hey, how you going? How was your trip?" And she goes, "Oh, it was actually really good for the kids because there was a temple open house and the kids are young. So it's going to temple open house, and we went to general conference together because they were in Utah. And being from Perth, Western Australia, that's a big deal for young travelers." And she goes, "But don't worry, Ammon, you got to work. You got a mention. You got a couple of mentions." I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Sign the New Jerusalem." They just kept going on about it and saying that you taught them about it.
Nice.
Yeah, and I don't need the mention, but what I love is for me, it's a very tangible thing. The prophecies that are coming to pass now and are shortly to come to pass in my life and the lives of our younger generation are so tangible to me that I can't help but want to impart that to the people that I love and the people that are around me. And I just love that it's become an infection with those that I come in contact with, in particular these youth.
I love it.
Yeah.
Remedying the ignorance from the get-go, man, from a young age. I love that.
And they're teaching their parents. They're going home and
that.
going, "No, Brother Wilkes, no, he said, sign the New Jerusalem. That's what we're doing, man. So I'm getting ready."
Which again,
and the parents are like,
still
"What?"
proves the point. Like, how many people
Zion,
don't
the
know
what
about
Jerusalem?
this stuff? So many
Yeah.
people just don't know about this stuff. People don't know there are like 4 second comings, for visitations of the Savior. And I used to be one of those people.
Proves 2 points in there. Proves that they don't know this, but also it proves how valuable a teacher to the young minds is, and how much poison we allow into our kids by allowing these other people to teach them love and don't judge, and it's the same thing.
That's so well said.
You've ruined them for life, and so the teacher matters. You change their entire outlook. And it's such a vastly different worldview that I would go as far as to say that one's Christ and one's Antichrist. When Topher's saying these things like, how could you be involved in these things? How could you be involved in these things if you don't? I'm telling you, there is not a small subset, a large, if not overwhelming majority right now of Christendom, obviously, but even in the church, that would listen to Topher saying that and would actually have a visceral reaction to it. That would actually be like, who's Topher to judge these people? Who's Topher to say that they wouldn't be involved? Why can't God use the ignorant and unfaithful and give them all these blessings? And so there is a swath of people that genuinely believe this, believe they don't have to display faith. They don't have to display works. They don't have to pray and ask for things. They don't have to do anything. There is no effort, and they will still be given the gift. Their actions don't determine their worth in that regard, that they can do whatever they want and the Lord will still, because they just said, yeah, I accept Lord as Savior. That's what the Christians say. Latter-day Saints say, because I've made covenants in the temple, which is literally, that's just slavery with more words. That's just the same thing with more words, you're just said, because I've said some words in the temple, therefore I'm good to go no matter what I do. It's the same thing. As saying, confess Christ as Lord. But that ideology, speaking of those good parent or good teacher, bad parent, it changes how you are as a parent as well. And it's completely different worldview, a completely different ideology to teach to your kids. Do you teach this way to your kids? Do you teach, hey, you don't have to do anything, kid. You can be a bad kid. You can be a miserable kid. You can be, and I will just give you a tree house. I'll just give you treats. I'll just give you the bike. Or do you say, no, I expect you to be moving in the right direction. I expect you to be doing good things. And you know what? I expect you even to go far as to raise money for the bike yourself. And then when you raise your $5.15, but you've made all the steps that are, that I want to see that are good, I will pay the $500 for the bike. That's where you now understood grace. You've now understand, like, there's no way you're going to make enough money for that bike. There's no way. There's no way you're going to be perfect, but I've seen the effort. I've seen you moving in that direction, and now I've taught you about the grace of our Savior by stepping in and bringing it the rest of the way. Do you teach that? Or do you say, now, Johnny, let's have a conversation. Why did you punch Susan? Why? Oh, hey, Johnny, stop punching me. Susan, okay, all right. Do you want some ice cream, Johnny? Here, have some ice cream. Is that the kind of parent you are? Because the way you view the gospel in this regard is reflected in how you parent, is reflected in how you teach. And so to say, oh, well, it doesn't matter what I know, it doesn't matter what it does. Because what you believe, the lens through which you're viewing the world is exactly how you do everything. So, anyway.
Amen.
Yep.
So anyway, thank God that those kids have Topher as the seminary teacher.
Oh, Ammon. Yep.
Or Ammon, what'd I say? Canada?
The other fake Canadian.
Yeah, it's good.
Very good game.
All right. Well,
Questions. Baby's got a question. Have you got a question? Well, here's a place to get it answered. It's the question of the week.
Love it.
Yeah. Is this Toph again?
Question.
Sure. We'll have you do all the news. Like I said, you were dressed in the outfit. The
All right. Am I reading this? Am I?
he'll do the spiritual thought and the news.
All right. Question of the week is from our good friend Elias Ray. All right. Question for my fellow Joseph's boys. Nephi received the vision and command from the Lord to build the ship for his family to travel to the promised land. But Lehi received the command from the Lord for when his family should enter the boat and begin the journey to the promised land. Why didn't Lehi receive the vision and command to build the ship as the patriarch of the family, but he received the command for the time to enter the ship and begin the journey to the promised land? For some reason, this stuck out to me as I have been going through the Book of Mormon again, but I haven't been able to exact an answer other than the Lord giving Nephi experience for his future role as leader. Book of Mormon student manual doesn't expound on it. Great question.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that something jumps out to me straight away, which is that we can receive individual revelation for ourselves. So what Nephi was receiving is, hey, I got to build a boat. Do you guys want to give me a hand? We got to build a boat. So they go and build a boat, but it wasn't his position or revelation to tell people to get into it and actually go and travel and follow the Lord's command via the patriarch to go to the promised land. That was Lehi's his authoritative position. So that, I guess, that sort of makes sense, unless that's crazy to anybody.
No, that's right. Yeah. So as far as the receiving the revelation to build a boat, anybody could do that. God could say right now, Micah could go in the back and build a boat, and I can do that. And but as soon as I say, okay, my ward, enter the boat, we're leaving. There's a problem because I can't tell my ward to do that. My bishop would have to do that, and so that's the reason why Nephi could receive for the boat, and Lehi for everyone to go into the boat. The more broad question, which he actually Elias actually asked after this, was just why did it happen this way? Not so much like Like I understand that part of it, but like why didn't it go to Lehi? And I would say that yeah, giving Nephi um experience to be a leader or giving him experience in personal revelation could be an answer to that, but something that I think that people might overlook is just how exhausting it is for good, not lazy, good men in positions like Lehi to be in. And so yeah, he could have been receiving revelation on this, but a couple things. He could have been exhausted with just asking the Lord, like, how do I deal with Laban and Lemuel? Like, how do I deal
Mm,
with this? Like, there's a million different things that could be going in on Lehi. And so just take the strain off of Lehi and just be like, okay, I'm just going to tell Nephi, just start building a boat. Just come over
yeah,
here, build
yeah,
a boat. It'll just take this weight off of Lehi. He doesn't have to worry about it. And I can just, help Lehi over here and do the thing. I think that that's a huge thing for like a father, where it's like if you had just a son that you're just like stressed out about something, and all of a sudden your son's like, "Hey, I built a boat." It's like, "Oh my goodness, thank you." Like I just didn't have to worry about this. It's already being taken care of. Like that's a
yeah.
fantastic thing to be able to have that on the side, just to be able to say, "Hey."
Mm,
Um,
That's kind of
and we
what
don't
I
know
was.
if Lehi even asked. So the other thing is, you have to ask. So Nephi would have been one that asked, "What do I need to be doing right now?" And he said, "Build a boat." Lehi might not have been asking, "Do I need to build a boat?" And if Lehi wasn't asking those questions, he wouldn't have just been given that revelation either. So, because
Yeah,
that's also another answer. So,
I think those are all really good points, and that's kind of what I was sort of thinking. Maybe it's almost like Lehi was so bogged down with the macro view of what he needs to do with all the people and just all the little problems, and then yeah, like you said, Nephi can take that piece, And again, it does teach him revelation. It does teach him how to receive revelation, understand it, follow it, receive more because he did it, and then because Nephi became the next prophet after Lehi, the next leader of the people. So and I was thinking like if you want to like make it more like real to us, it's almost like a stake president, and then you've got a bishop who's doing his part for the people, and the stake president going, hey, okay, cool, well this needs to happen at this level, and maybe bishops or bishop, whatever, doing this part with his people, and then listening to the state president or whatever. If you want to relate it to something more relatable, but yeah. Anyway, really good question, and I think that's a good answer. Yeah. Oh, Ammon, you talking to us? You're muted.
unmute. Baby's got a question. I think what it rings back to me on as well is the experience of the Hebrews leaving Egypt. They saw all the miracles. They were dragged out of Egypt by Moses and by the Lord. They went through the Red Sea, and then all of a sudden, when the Lord started requiring things of them, they started to fall apart.
mm,
And and when we look at that, we're like, how could they? They saw all those crazy things, and now they're falling apart. The problem was that through that whole process up until basically Mount Sinai, they never really had to act on faith much, right?
Yeah.
If somebody came along and they're like, you've been praying, and the Lord's heard your calls, and He's going to free you from bondage. Does it take any faith to be like, thank you, I'm coming. I'm in. I don't think it takes a lot of faith for that, to be honest.
And
It's
they
like, oh
still
wait,
struggle.
you're gonna save my life. I accept. Like it's not a real big step in the dark. Do you know what I'm saying?
well, the
And when you're
majority of them
seeing the
stayed
miracles, you're
behind.
like, well, that's
Yeah,
the
they still
thing.
struggle. That's crazy.
That's the
Mm.
thing. I don't think it took a huge amount of faith, and yet still so many didn't even have that. So the ones that went, even the ones that went, didn't have to exercise a ton of faith, I don't think. But by the time they got to sort of the Sinai portion, it's like, okay, guys, come up the mountain. It's like, nope, that's too much, And then from beyond that, it's like, we don't like the manna. We want meat. We don't want to
There's me
do that. We're
pots. Yeah.
thirsty. So the problem that they had is the Hebrews would only act when they were forced to or they were told to, and they still whinged about it because they hadn't used any, like taken any initiative for themselves at any point. They were always told what to do, dragged along through the wilderness, and therefore they spent 30 years wandering around in circles. Nephi and Lehi also went into the wilderness. But one of the differences with Nephi was he was trying to receive revelation and act in faith. So he was having these experiences, which was building his faith and preparing him and his family for the next revelation.
And why?
Right.
I mean, you just hit something key though. Why? Not one of those Israelites said, not one of them said, Lord, what do I need to do in order to get water for
Yes.
me and my family? Not
Yes.
one of them. They all
Yes.
relied on the prophet, hence were darkened in their
Exactly.
mind. They just went to
Correct.
Moses and said, give me water, give me water.
Correct. I was going to say the example for me of that was Nephi and his bow. So they all broke their bows, and then Nephi's like, okay, I snapped mine too, and everyone's raging at me. Lord, I'm going to make a bow out of some sticks and sinew. Please tell me where to go to get game. Like I know you can do it. I can't do this. I know you can do it. Show me where to get the game and help us to live. And of course, he came back with all the animals, and they all survived. So everything that Nephi was doing was him trying to ask the Lord what to do, receiving the revelation as far as he could, and then acting. And so what it reminds me of is we don't need to be relying on the prophet and for every single little thing, and therefore darkened in our own minds and failing to receive any revelation or act in any faith. So good example.
Yeah, nice.
Imagine, and then by the way, Moses wouldn't have cursed and broke the rock and been taken away. Like the people just exhausted him.
Yes.
Just exhausted him.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like,
Pushed him to the brink. Yeah.
pushed him to the brink. Can none of you do anything yourselves? Can none of you take this
Yeah.
to the Lord and work through faith? And nope.
No, it
couldn't
would
do
be exhausting. It would be so exhausting
Yeah.
Yep.
and disappointing. You know,
Yes.
just
Yep.
sad, annoying, disappointing.
I'll tell you on the
Yeah.
flip. I'll tell you on the flip side though, to have a son like Nephi, man,
Oof.
that
Mm.
wow, like how much gratitude you would have for that. Like to be able to be like, my sons are over here bickering. They're just a pain in my backside, and here comes Nephi with his freshly made bow that you didn't tell him to make, and he's like, Father, just tell me where to go hunting. And you're just like, wow. Like,
Mhm.
like, what did I do to deserve a son like this? You know, like, thank
If
you.
there was
How much the
if there
Lord
was no
appreciates that
Nephi,
too.
yeah, if there was no Nephi, there would have been no Nephites,
Yeah,
because he was the guy that pulled Paul Lehi back from the brink.
yeah,
Lehi's doing everything he possibly can, and it took his son to be like, "Hey, Dad, you need to pull it together." And his dad and Lehi went and repented. He's like, "You're right." He went and repented and changed his ways. And if Nephi wasn't there,
Lehi
might
would have
not
been
have had
another
the-
Moses. Yeah, it's true.
Yep.
Another good point.
Joseph
Nice, thanks.
Smith needed Hiram Smith.
Yes,
Lehi needed Nephi.
and Brigham,
Moses needed Aaron.
Joshua,
Joshua, Aaron.
Aaron screwed up.
Yeah. So did Oliver Cowdery. So there's like, the Lord gives people opportunities to be the guy that holds the prophet up. And we get to choose, if we're the guy, we get to choose whether or not we do it. If we don't, he just appoints someone else.
Choose if you're chosen. Choose if you're chosen.
Choose to be chosen.
Yeah,
Yep.
boy. Yeah, great
All right.
question.
So-
Great question. Thanks, Elias. That was really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Baby's got a question.
And now for the moment we've all been waiting for.
Our favorite.
Tune in to
Oh.
Channel Free, Channel Free Brothers for this week's headlines. With your anchors Topher, Micah, and Evan. Get your week's headlines. Channel Free. Yeah.
This sponsored
by
Canada.
Welcome
Yeah,
once
yeah,
again,
yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, to Channel 3 Brothers, where we give you the 3 hottest headlines from around the world.
Yeah.
As Micah has stated clearly, these are only Canadian talking points. You know, we're going to cover these from your favorite Canadians' perspective, but we do our very best for you guys to remain as impartial as we possibly can. So this week, starting at number 1, we have White House Correspondents' Dinner Shooter Incident. I'm sure we've all seen this. Aftermath calls for Trump's ballroom. Aftermath is a call for Trump's ballroom, I should say. Wasn't that insane? Wasn't that insane? Now, as an Australian looking at this with a Canadian perspective, because we are Canadian shills here. All I see is when I look at that is I go, oh man, how do I trust the news? Literally, as soon as it happened, I honestly, I didn't even dive into it much before my first instinct was, this seems sensational to me. And I'm more than happy to dive deeper into it if need be. But there was something that just seemed off and very sensational about it. And then instantly, the people that are very critical of these types of things start to notice the cracks. One of them was the video that was going around of the guy that was under his table and is getting his fork out and trying to eat his dinner from under the table when there's an active shooter. If you look at the video, the guy brings his hand to his mouth to eat with his hand, and when he pulls his hand away, a fork appears.
Yeah, clearly AI.
So it's clearly bad AI. Now, there could be a myriad of reasons as to why the government would overlay a situation like that with live, strange AI. But no matter what reason it is, it's not the truth. It's not real. And therefore, if something's not real, I want to step back and say, okay, well, I'm not going to instantly believe everything that I see because what I'm seeing doesn't seem to be real. Therefore, I would like to question this. Simple stuff, right? And these assassination attempts are stacking up to the point where, and having a healthy respect for the truth and a healthy respect for the fact that our politicians are not very honest, I'm starting to ask the question, are all these things real? And then you start to see the fallout from this was, okay, well, this is why we need to build the, forgive me if I'm wrong, $300 million ballroom at the White House. How the heck in a sane planet is that the immediate talking point after someone nearly gets shot? How is it immediately the connection that a whole administration makes after you nearly get shot to bring that immediately back to your big financial investment that you're trying to push through, and this somehow justifies it? To me, that's where the conspiracy comes in. Like, I'm not putting it there. They put it there. They're connecting these things immediately. To me, that screams intent. Like there's an ulterior motive that's immediately appeared. And I know it's just a Canadian talking point, and maybe I'm a shill, but I immediately looked at this and was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I think we should at least question this, guys. I don't know the answer, but it seems sus. So
That's really well said, honestly. I guess to your point, my first impression. So straight away, if there's AI video involved, straight away the waters are muddy, right? And you're straight away like what is the why? Like, again, why? And straight away. So here's the thing. I kind of said this to you guys before we started recording. In my opinion, if you don't instantly now, when it comes to news, if you're not instantly dubious of all of it, I think you're wrong from the get-go. I think we need to be instantly dubious of all news. I understand because I probably did myself. Because obviously lean very conservative, right? So when Trump and the MAGA whole thing, and conservatives are in office, and it's like I'm instantly like, I want to believe everything that side of the political spectrum pushes, right? Like, I want that to be the truth. I want there to conservatives to win and whatever. The problem is, so I've woken up to that though. I now no longer. I think there is deception. I think there's muddy waters. I think there's ulterior motives on both sides for whatever reason. The whole ballroom thing is a mystery. It's an amazing, weird, flipping. I don't know. Understand any of that? I don't know what's going on there. But I honestly think if you're so married to one side that you accept every premise, every news article, everything that they ever say without sort of questioning anything, I think you're off to a bad start straight away. I can't fathom, and I don't understand how anyone trusts the news in general straight away. There's going to be truth everywhere, right? But that we have been deceived clearly and blatantly and obviously so many times And even if you use, say, like September 11 as like the starting point of that, I think it's been forever. But you could even use that as like a date when everything started going like, I don't trust a single thing anymore. I don't trust a single thing that the news puts on anymore without a healthy dose of um, dubiousness and
Skepticism.
skepticism is the word I was looking for. Thank you. But yeah, always concerned about the ulterior motive because it seems like there always is one. And I mean, isn't there always one? And I think that's where you have to start. And I think if you're not doing that, I think you're doing yourself and others who listen to you potentially a disservice from the get-go. Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, and I would just point out to people that a big part of the Three Brothers is a huge part of what we do is obviously spiritual in nature. What we're doing here with the news is we're just telling you things that have happened. Like, and we're trying to say, don't trust any of this, trust the scriptures or us. Like, we're just joking. Like, can we not
Yeah.
just laugh at this stuff? And the problem is it's like people can only laugh at half their half, right? Their half of the political aisle or whatever. It's like, can you not see how it's weird that like Taylor Swift is flying in her jet everywhere to talk about global warming and like, can you not see how that's kind of funny? Like no, that
Yeah, the irony. Yeah.
can you not see it's funny? Like, can you not see it's funny that some guy apparently got shot and we're like, that's why we need to build a ballroom? Like, can you not just laugh at that? Like, no, that's serious. And it's like, it's like it becomes your sacred cow. Like when you are unable to
Yes.
even laugh at this, like this isn't Jesus. This isn't, this isn't any of those things. Like if we can't even laugh at the fact that like last week that Trump literally compared himself to Jesus and we want to say that's Canada's talking points, then it's like, bro, like, sister, like we've got some problems. Like we're here at the Three Brothers to laugh at this stuff. We'd be like, this is the crazy world we live in. Like this is hilarious. And if you don't see that, then I'm sorry because you're missing out on a lot of good humor in the world right now because this is hilarious. There's some guy under the table eating AI. There's another guy just sitting at the table. Gunman's running around. Apparently, some guy is just eating at the table like nothing's going on. It's like we're living in crazy land. There's
Yes.
there's an active shooter, and the Secret Service forget who the president of the United States is. I don't know if you saw that. They all rush in and get JD Vance off the stage, and then they're like, "Oh wait, the president." Then they go in and get the president. Like I'm not saying
It's a
it's a
clown show.
conspiracy. This is what I've seen. This is like with the first Trump shooter where like the woman can't get the gun out of her holster and it's like this is hilarious. It's embarrassing. Like can we not look at this and be like this is funny. This is hilarious. I'm not just trying to take down America, but like there's some problems here when the Secret Service is like rushing in to get JD Vance, but like nobody's getting the president, and Erica Kirk for some reason at this event and is being ushered out and it's like completely silent. As soon as she sees the cameras, looks over, I just want to go home, and then just keeps walking up perfectly for the cameras. Like it's all a stage show.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. None of us can look at this and just go, this is hilarious. We live in a show. It's all just presentation.
Yep.
Like
The world is a stage, they say.
that's right. And that's what we're here in the Three Brothers. We're here to have a good laugh at it. And all of you who take this stuff seriously, it's your golden calf. We're going to laugh at your golden calves of balm. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. And be critical of all of this stuff, man. Like what choices do we have as humans with the crap that's going on around us? You can cry about it, you can laugh about it, you can question it, or you can be the guy that goes, no, everything that's going on is above board. Believe everything that you see. Don't question everything. Everything's fine. And if you do ask any questions, correct, on my side, don't ask any questions about the things that I believe in, that I trust. And if you do, you're a madman. Heck no. Heck no.
Yeah.
Question all of it. Laugh at all of it. Be willing to, like, if I don't worship Trump and I don't worship that administration, which I don't, then be willing to like be critical of it. Be willing to question it. Be willing to laugh at it. Even if that's my side of politics, right? If it's my side of politics, be willing to question, be willing to step away, be willing to laugh, be willing to do what it takes. Don't just stand there and go, well, everything they're doing is above board. Don't you dare ask a question. That's madness. Like that's real boomer mentality. That's real boomer politics. And we shouldn't be that way. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, Anna, take us away. Number 2.
Imagine
Oh,
listening to
Oh
a
yeah,
liar.
sorry.
Sorry. Imagine listening to a liar that's lied to you so many times and then still going, yeah, true. You know, like it's just like, what are you doing? Like at this point, it's like
it's
gonna be
4D
insane.
chess.
4D. Oh my gosh. The stuff that people come up with in order to justify what they believe in and sleep at night is insane. All right. Headline number 2 on the channel. Three brothers. Is it always about Erica Kirk? Erica doubles down on haters. She says they're jealous of my faith, my platform, and my eyelashes. May or may not have said that.
Allegedly.
Allegedly said that. I saw clips of that video, and once again, this poor, sweet, allegedly innocent woman puts up a video that could not have made her look any worse as usual. Like, if there is a PR team, please
they're bad.
fire them, because
Oh,
every
yeah.
single thing that she does is literally the opposite of what she should do, and the way she portrays herself is always
Yeah.
the opposite way she should portray herself. Coming
Yeah.
out looking like she's an FBI agent ready to question the audience, coming out with those beady eyes and like dark questions and like scornful
fishing for sympathy.
pity.
You know, it's pity
Yeah.
and sympathy. Like still, are you really
Oh.
still at this phase of your thing, fishing for sympathy and pity, and everyone's attacking me and stuff? Like, have you not learned a lesson about how to act when someone, let's say someone attacks you? Again, I mentioned this before. Look at what JD Vance did when they made a meme of him. He leaned into it, man. He leaned into
Yeah.
it and laughed at himself and had a great laugh at it. And you know what? It's never mentioned again. You know, it becomes a funny meme.
We're still laughing at the CEO of McDonald's for how he handled all of his, like, what you're a
Yeah, his
CEO of.
Because he keeps trying. He keeps going, no, look, I can eat a burger. Look, oh. It's like,
It's
how about-
hilarious.
I love
Laugh at yourself, mate.
burgers.
Yeah, I love this product. I love products.
It's
Such a
hilarious.
good product.
Oh my
I'm
gosh!
gonna actually eat this product for my dinner.
Yeah, like, yeah.
What?
Off
Why are you
cam-
treating
off
it like you're an
camera.
alien?
Keep digging this
Yeah.
hole where they make it worse and worse and worse. And Erica Kirk is like, unfortunately for her, is unlikable and just keeps making herself more and more unlikable and more and more,
Questionable. Yeah.
untrustworthy. Like, no one, I don't know. I can't trust a word she says anymore. I don't know. And she's like, oh, they're saying I'm a bad CEO and that I have no right to be the CEO and that I killed my husband and all this stuff. It's like, dude, you don't help yourself at all, though. And then look what you're doing, like with the court cases and stuff.
Yep.
You don't help yourself at all. And also, did you see Drewski did this as well?
Oh
Did
no!
you-
Yep.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
Yeah. And
Oh, my
anyway,
gosh.
it's wild. It's wild. And
This is
from what
a train
I saw,
wreck that keeps crashing. It's
He
really
Oh,
bad.
just stop. Just
used
stop
her
it.
audio. He used her audio and mimed the audio with him, like with him as him. It's gold. And it's just he's probably making tons of money off this, having a great time. While she's
allegedly.
just
I saw that video, but I feel like I could be wrong. I feel like somebody AI'd Drewski's skit face and put it over her.
Well, maybe. Oh, maybe. I only saw it quickly. I actually saw it only just before.
I've seen it, but I paid attention to who it was posted by, and it wasn't
Mm.
Drewski. So I think somebody's gone and
Oh,
been
just,
hilarious, and they've just AI'd Drewski's
that would
Erica face
that would make
and
sense.
put it. Yeah,
That would make sense. But either way,
that's just saving us from a lawsuit.
hilarious. Yeah. And anyway, but she just, I don't know, man, makes it worse. Her response to everything just makes it worse. And she's the victim and she's, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, do you know what? Maybe it's true. Maybe at some point, maybe you should look at yourself and go, maybe I am a problem here.
It's probably a Canadian conspiracy theory or
Probably.
conspiracy theorist in me, but I
All
I
Canadians
can't
hate
get
her.
over. Oh yeah, there you go. So it is a Canadian talking point. She's behind the death of her husband, allegedly, in my opinion, potentially, maybe. Like, I'm just convinced of that. Call me a
so many
Canadian shill.
stuff. I mean, there's a list of things as to why you'd even start thinking that.
There's a
There's
long
list.
list.
It's not like one thing.
Yep.
There's a long list of
No.
like weird things. Yeah, allegedly.
Mhm. Just a narrative that we definitely need to question.
But here's the deal, guys. JD Vance responded and said, "Man, when I'm not thinking about her in her tight leather pants." No, he didn't say that. He said, "You know, I've decided." He's like, "I figured it out. People just hate really attractive, cute, blonde
Blondes.
women."
Yeah,
And
that must
and
be-
I thought, oh yeah, that's a great thing to say when you're married to an East Indian woman. And the image that you are most associated with Erica Kirk is grabbing the backside and her grabbing the back of your head when she's
Yeah.
in tight leather pants. That's that.
Yeah.
Once again,
Essential embrace. Yeah.
who is like, and once again, it's like, well, that's a talking point of Canada. I have eyes. Like, this is not right. I'm the type of guy who won't allow women in my home when my wife's not here. I don't care who they are. I don't care how old they are. Like, seriously, I don't care if you're a 12-year-old girl or an 80-year-old woman. Like, that's my image, right? Like, that's how I am. When I see a man holding a widow like that and then making comments like that, it's like, that seems inappropriate. Like, like, can nobody look at this and laugh at this and say, "Oh, this just is not right"? Like,
Yeah.
look at this Erica Kirk. Which is it? Is she a grieving widow that I should feel sympathy for?
Yeah.
Or is she the bad woman that's, dressed like Eminem that's gonna take it to us and prove him wrong? Which is it? Or is it supposed to be both? She's a bad woman, but also you're mean for making fun of her. Which is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pick a lane.
Also-
I think it's all hilarious.
Yeah. And I think here's the thing as well, man. She moved on instantly from her husband's public assassination to big bad boss lady of $100 million plus organization.
Dancing to fireworks.
And we weren't immediately allowed to ask any questions about TP USA or her appointment to it or anything because she's a grieving widow. My question is, why is she allowed to instantly move on from the murder of her husband and talk about business, but we're not allowed to be critical of her on the business end?
Yep.
Just the TP USA side and what she's doing on the business end, because as soon as you are, people go, how dare you say that she's a grieving widow? So why is it okay for her to instantly get over the fact that she's a grieving widow, but we're not allowed to? How come we're not allowed to? Like, how many months need to go by before we're allowed to be critical of this woman running that organization?
It's a great point.
While she attacks us.
While she's attacking everybody else. At what point can this be a reciprocal amount of questioning? Because she's attacking everyone about whiteface and you're saying I do this and you're saying I do
And
that.
trying to sue him.
Correct. At what point are we allowed to do that? Now?
Yeah.
Or like, do we have to wait another 6 months before like the grieving process in
Only
her
we
mind
have to grieve.
officially?
Yeah.
Correct. We're the only ones that are supposed to be grieving. She did that on day one. The day her husband died, she went online shopping and spent thousands of dollars on gym and athletic gear.
That's wild.
So husband died, and then a person that worked at the store she purchased the athletic gear from, like gym gear, showed receipts of her purchasing them that very next morning after her husband had been brutally assassinated in public.
Crazy,
Now,
man. If my wife
that's-
died, I'd be crying for days, weeks, months.
Every single person that loved their significant other would be. That's why we asked the question, like, if it's okay for her to literally that morning be worried about what she's wearing to the gym, why to the point where she would have spent like a good hour, maybe 2 hours the morning of her husband's death worrying about what she's going to wear to the gym that day?
Even thinking
Why
about
is it
going to
okay?
the gym.
That's what
The
I'm
hell?
saying. So why is it
Yeah.
okay for her to have instantly gotten over this and she's allowed to talk business and this global organization and all this sort of stuff, but we're not allowed to? And if that's the case, at what point are we allowed to? Do we wait the 6 months? Is there like the cooling off period? Or anyway?
You know
That's
what they
it's
say to
frust-
that? They always say,
Yeah.
we grieve in different ways, and it's like, oh yeah, so the guy that's sniffing cocaine and jumping naked off of bridges, is that okay to like? Okay, again, we all grieve in different ways, but it doesn't mean all grief is an appropriate way to grieve. So even in that statement, it's like that's not an appropriate way to grieve, like. Well, she grieve in different ways, so she's just sleeping around at the moment. It's like, okay, that's not good. That's not healthy. So it's like, even in that, like, that excuse, it's not actually an excuse. Uh,
No,
you're
it's
being
it's
you're being destructive.
they actually, what they say when you get critical of them is, "You're an anti-Semite." So, wait, what? How did they connect? Never mind. Never mind. All right. Shall we? Let's move on. Sorry. These have been good ranting points for me. Number 3, brothers, from Channel 3 Brothers. Trump supporters making same mistakes as Dems 10 years ago. History repeats itself, usually while wearing a MAGA hat. Touch grass, you deplorables. I'll let you guys launch into this one.
Man, this is insane to me how little we've learned about this. That if you like, people don't remember this when people are like, can I just ask questions about, like, why are we allowing trans in the bathrooms again? Like, why are
Yeah.
we allowing trans in sports again? Like, why can't we define what a woman is? Like, why can't we, like, reasonable people on the left just asking questions, and we on the right were like, yeah, why can't they ask questions? And what was the response? You're deplorable, you're racist, you need to go touch grass, and you're just dumb. You just are uneducated. Like, you're just
Yeah.
listening to the wrong sources. You're listening to podcasts, you're letting that poison into your life. Like, what you need to do is you just need to listen to us, the academia world. We're the educated people. We're telling you, like, it's a little more complicated than just a man has these genitalia and a woman has these genitalia. You're just stupid. You're just not educated enough. Like, and then we're like, that's not a good enough answer. That you don't just get to call us deplorable, nasty, racist, poisoned people and then get away with it at the midterm. And then what? And then they lose the midterm and they're like, it was your fault. You did this because you elected Trump, and all the blood that's on Trump's hands is now on you. And now the Trump supporters are doing this. Like, word for word, it's exactly the same stuff. Well, you just are listening to bad sources. You're just dumb. You're brainwashed. That's not the whole story. I just want to ask questions. Like, okay, so, like, I get it. I get that just because the gun fragment didn't match the bullet in his neck, and just because a 30-06 would normally blow a deer in half and it didn't do that. Like, can I ask questions about this? No,
Nope.
you're stupid. You're an uneducated bigot. You can't even ask questions, and you're dumb because of it. You need to listen to the experts. And all the experts that I'm listening are Zionist. Every one of them. You need to listen to them. And it's like, can't I just ask questions about this? This Erica Kirk thing, it just seems you're a sexist. You're a bag of deplorables. And then it's like, we don't even need you. You're not even a MAGA to begin with. All of you get out. And it's like, okay, I guess I'm out. And then it's like, when they get trounced in 2026 and trounced in 2028, they're going to do the same thing. All the blood that is on this new administration's hands is on your hands because you let them get elected, you deplorables who are just too stupid to see things clearly. And it's like, oh, and the other one, killing comedy. We just wanted to joke about trans people in sports. We just wanted to have, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna dominate the women's sport. Like, my name is a beautiful woman. And we just wanted to laugh at it. It's hilarious, What's your name? My name is beautiful woman. We just wanted to laugh at it. It was hilarious. And the left was like, you can't laugh at that. That's not funny. And it's like, you're killing comedy. You are killing comedy. And now we're like, Drewski's white facing it. And we're like, you can't laugh at that. That's Canada's talking points. And it's like, you're killing comedy. You're killing comedy. And so we are literally right now, the MAGA supporters, the Zionist MAGA supporters, you are Hillary 2.0.
Which
It's interesting. Oh, you go.
I was just going to say what this points out to me is that literally politics, this is two sides of the same coin,
Yep.
politics, two sides of the same coin in the Zionist bank.
Yep. Yep. And they just keep flipping it back and forth, and they just
Yep.
keep getting what they want, and we just keep fighting each other.
And we're in this little, like, we're fighting over this junk. And the bigger thing is out here that we're not even really concerned with or seeing,
Yep. Shoot
You
each
know, I
other in the
think
back
it's-
for plastic and metal scraps.
I think it's important, Goop, if you will. I think it's important to when you know how you kept Mike, you kept saying like that you're killing comedy by not letting us laugh about things and talk about it. Part of the way that you can come to the truth on things and help people see the light, so to speak, or see how crazy something is sometimes through comedy. Like, how many times have you listened to a comedy skit about something, and after you've listened to it, it's like, yeah, it really is that hilarious. Like, it really is so absurd that it's actually a joke. Like, when you put it all together and look at it from that perspective, yeah, I really should question that one
they can
thing.
sometimes explain it better than you can even explain it yourself, but by
Exactly.
joke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They can make you
Yeah.
see things from a perspective. And so I think if all we're ever doing is taking things, like as soon as something happens, like taking it so seriously and being willing to immediately die on that hill for your side of politics or whatever, it prevents open discussion. It prevents you from seeing the truth, even if the truth is actually in plain sight. And if you're, it's there's nothing worse than like going to a comedy show or seeing people in a comedy show where the comedian's trying to set something up, and someone's like, "You're
Yeah.
not funny," or "Tell an actual joke," and it like destroys the whole thing, and then they get murdered by the comedian on stage. But there's nothing worse than everybody knowing we're here for comedy. So like, I'm gonna talk about controversial things and you can laugh or not laugh. There's nothing worse than someone that comes in and is like, I'm gonna take this too seriously and ruin this for everybody. And then everyone's like, oh, do they not get what comedy is? Do they not get what we're here to do?
Yeah,
We're
why
allowed
they-
to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't throw ad hominem attacks at me when all I'm trying to do is lighten the mood here and laugh
And you're the
about things
idiot
that
for
we
being there, like ruining it. Like, what are you even doing? Yeah.
you knew the script before you walked in. We're gonna laugh about everything. So if
Yeah.
you
And then-
come in and take something too seriously, you've ruined it.
And then want to let you know, I came in, I was enjoying it for a while, but man, your jokes just too political, and so I
Yeah,
had to leave.
yeah.
It's like, ugh. Well,
Yeah.
The worry
Couldn't get
apparently
couldn't.
you needed them more than anybody. Apparently you needed them more than anyone because this was becoming a golden calf for you because you were taking things too seriously. Just have a
Yeah.
laugh.
The other worry
Yeah.
for me is that if some stuff's off the table, if some stuff can't be joked about or talked about, then at what stage potentially
What's
is
the line?
anything? Yeah, where's the line? And it just keeps moving and encroaching back and back and back, or and that's a free speech issue, and it's I don't know, that's a slippery surface, that one, slippery slide, slippery slope.
There's one thing that we don't really joke about, and that's obviously Jesus, Joseph, spiritual things. But if people want to joke about them, hey,
Yeah, I won't watch it,
Yeah.
but you can.
go
Yeah.
for it. Like
I think it's
we
more
support your right
important to
do it.
have it's more important to have tough skin than like a dangerous
Trying to control what people say.
willingness to control or attack. Like, I'd much rather everyone being able to talk about whatever they want, and me needing to deal with the stuff that I don't like in a respectful a way that I possibly can, than to be like, no, we have to censor or pick and choose what we question or what we talk about, because that's not a world I want to live in. And then I'm not saying I want to live in a world where everyone's extreme and rude and crazy about everything, but what's the option?
Mhm.
It's either control or it's freedom. And if it's freedom, then you're going to have to hear people's point of views that you don't agree with. And how are you going to react to that? Are you going to be like some kind of super soft guy that takes offense at everything? Or are you going to have the thick skin where you can actually laugh, make some jokes about things that are crazy, help people to see, oh, actually, that is crazy. Like, the only other option is like being super serious and like telling people, no, you're wrong.
You're
That's a
faggot.
bad perspective.
And
You're a bigot.
Look at Historically, look how good it goes when you control free speech, control speech.
You always get
But
crushed.
yeah, breaks every time.
Yep. But hey, it's all going to be our fault when they lose. So you can leave. We don't need you in the MAGA movement. Okay, bye. And if we lose,
Yeah.
it's now your fault. Okay, which is it?
Okay. We're just a bunch of Canadian shills, though. So what do we know? All right.
That's true.
Next one. Number 4, Channel 3 brothers. The church clarifies second hour changes. No more lessons, just discussions and counseling. Finally, a church hour that feels like actual therapy. And when we say hour, we mean a church 25-minute block.
Yeah.
And we did have a good rant about this earlier, so I won't say much, but it's going to be very, very interesting. That's all I'll say.
I, for one, have been dying for a church therapy session to be, instead of a lesson. I've been just hanging on that my whole life, waiting for that to be the case. I don't want to learn anymore. I want to talk about my feelings and things that don't make sense or matter to anyone else.
This one isn't a joke,
Personally.
by the way.
Is
This
that,
one,
what? Okay, I thought this was a joke.
no, this one isn't a joke. So they did actually clarify that this isn't a lesson. Think of this more as a 25-minute discussion and counseling session. So no,
Oh my goodness.
That's legit. So that's not.
Oh, this went from sarcastic to sad real quick.
Yeah. So no. So like the idea of you preparing a lesson and actually teaching a lesson, like you need to throw that out the window. What
Oh,
we're here to do is to come together with a couple. The idea is everyone studies stuff on their own with their favorite podcasters, and then they all come together and share those favorite podcasters and their feelings in a counseling and discussion session for a bit, and then they leave. And so
And links to their subscription services.
basically, yeah, that's basically so that's what this is. So don't think of this as a lesson anymore. This is so you're not a teacher, you are a facilitator. So you are there to lead a discussion and counseling. You are not there to actually teach anything anymore.
You Venmo mine, I'll Venmo yours. That's crazy. What the heck? Okay. Well, far out. I thought this was sarcasm. Dang it.
Mm.
No, this one's actually finally a church hour that feels like that's the joke. But the top part, yeah, no, like they're actually this is what they're saying.
Dang
So.
it. I don't want to harp on too much about this, but I think it's a little unfortunate when let's be honest, a lot of saints aren't studying through the week, and they use that short amount of time on Sundays where the only place they're getting any sort of doctrinal or anything, that's on them. But
But they will drag everyone down with them.
And we just talked about how there's an epidemic of ignorance in the church right now, where we like I'm telling you, you go around and ask the general membership what's the difference between the light of Christ, the Holy Ghost, and the second Comforter, and it isn't even a joke. I'd be willing to bet, like I based off of me asking members, 90% don't know that answer.
true.
90% don't know that answer. They get it wrong. And so we have an epidemic of just ignorance in the church. And this is serious, like basic level knowledge. And we're like, yeah, let's just talk about our feelings instead. It's like, wow, we're in trouble.
Mm. Wow. All right.
That's a fun one.
So
All right,
that's a fun
moving
one.
on to the last one, boys. For the Channel 3 brothers, JD Vance claims pretty blondes get all the hate. Maybe they are just unlikable. Case in point, Blake Lively. Sources say charm doesn't work when the receipts are this strong. Oh, jeepers.
Yeah, I hate to tell you this, guys.
Yeah.
I hate to tell you this, guys. Blake Lively, way more attractive than Erica. Way more attractive than Erica. Don't even get me
objectively
started.
by everybody.
Objectively by everyone, doesn't have crazy eyes, and she got buried for what she did. Buried for what she did. So yeah, okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Remember Amber Heard and what's his face? Captain Jack Sparrow. What's his name?
Yeah.
Another one.
Johnny
Depp.
Johnny Depp.
Same thing. And you know what's interesting as well is genuinely, despite the fact that Johnny Depp was a superstar, everybody would have 110% been on her side had she even a shred of credibility in anything that
Yeah.
she said.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
A shred.
People would have loved to tear down the number one Hollywood star. You know what I mean? Like absolutely love to tear down the top dog, but they couldn't.
Whose image is a drunk pirate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's his
Yeah.
image.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
everything is a joke, and he lives his life like a drunken, drugged out maniac. So you'd believe it if there was a shred of
Yep.
evidence.
Yep.
But yeah, Erica Kirk is exactly the same. She and JD Vance is saying this because he specifically got this tied to Erica Kirk, but she came out with everybody giving her the benefit of the doubt because she
Yes.
was the grieving widow. So right
It's
out the
steel
gate,
bullet.
everybody gave her the benefit of the doubt, including me, until she opened her mouth and
Mm.
did stuff. And then
Mm.
instantly I was like, hang on, that. And this is weird. And it got worse and
So true.
worse and worse. So she already had the whole world wrapped around her finger until she opened her mouth.
Yeah, I do. I recall it. I recall all that going down, and instantly going, man, poor Erica, and family and all that. And I remember being like taking her side straight away, and it took what 0 seconds flat for her to ruin that. You know what I mean? Like absolutely threw it in the toilet instantly.
Yeah, people don't hate people because they're blonde and pretty. I'm telling you right now that there's a woman that I can think of that has made her entire career about being a cute, dumb blonde, dumb to the point in time where she's not dumb. She pretends to be dumb for the role, and that's Dolly Parton. And everyone has loved her for like 50 years. Love this woman for 50 years. Okay? So like it is not just, oh, we hate pretty blondes. No, it's so ludicrous to and it's always the fallback, man. I can think of a priest crafter who falls into this boat too. Oh, it's just because you're a pretty blonde and that's the reason. It's like, you're not pretty, you are blonde. But like, like, okay, but let's hold on a second there. But it's like, like give me a break. Like, maybe it's just because you're not likable. Like, maybe it's because like there's receipts that are attached to this. Like, I mean, imagine if people listen to my Seven Sealed to Be or Not to Be, and like listen to some of my videos where I'm just like, like basically, like you guys are dumb. And then afterwards, when people got mad at me for doing it, I was like, it's just because you just don't like pretty blondes. Like, imagine that. Like you're like, you don't laugh at, like, who is this idiot who's so
full of himself? Yeah.
Full of himself, but like doesn't understand why what he just did and how it will offend people. Like, so oblivious that he just doesn't realize what he's apparently doing. Like, obviously this is going to upset people, but yeah, that's the world we live in.
Another one was Marilyn Monroe, right? Like, she kind of played like, and people love her to this day, dead, but like people have always loved her, always idolized her image, her everything. She played the dumb blonde. She played that role, and then loved her. Everyone loved her. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's not being blonde. It's not being dumb even necessarily. It's all these other things. Yeah.
Yep, I can think of lots of pretty blondes that not only that are play the dumb role even. Like, so a reason we should laugh at him, and we don't. We love him, and so yeah, it's just not.
You get what you pay for. The receipts prove it.
Yes, you get what you pay for. It's true. All right. Oh, hey, there's a B on the bottom there. It's so funny. Yeah, so I put this on here. Satire, sarcasm, spiritual whiplash. We report, you decide.
Nice.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's it.
I think Ammon had to go. I think it's nearly midnight here, so he had to bail, I think, unfortunately. But that's fine.
All right, well, let's take it back to someplace sweet right before we go.
Yeah.
Spiritual. Come on, let's get spiritual. Let's talk spiritual. Let me get you spiritual. Let me get you spiritual. Spiritual. Put down. Give me your spiritual thought.
Yeah. All right, let's bring it back, folks. If we've offended you, here, come back. Come back to the fold. We had a good laugh. Let's come back. Let's put on the spirit voice. Let's put on the spirit voice and let's get you back here. Okay. I guess I'm doing this since Ammon's gone. Okay,
Yeah,
spiritual
you do
thought.
it. Yeah.
Spiritual thought. Orson Pratt, Volume 3, Disc 3. I can't even do that. I can't do that for that long. Hurts my soul. In order to do this, it is necessary for us in our prosperity to remember the Lord our God. For if men and women will not remember the Lord when the heavens smile upon them, and when health is in their habitation, if they will not acknowledge the hand of God then, and be thankful for the blessings that they receive, you may be sure that they will not be so well prepared to endure trials and to pass through adversities as those who have, in the days of their prosperity, humbled themselves before the Lord and acknowledged his hand in all things. And so we're living in a time right now where we're still in a day of plenty. We
Yes.
can complain about gas prices and stuff, but I can still get my sesame fried chicken. I can still get my stuff. It's still available. I've never, other than when you're fasting, I've never gone a day hungry in my life. I've never, just a life of blessings. And Can I not remain grateful in these days? And if I can't, and acknowledge God's hand in all things, and if I can't, then you know that that when we go through what we're going to go through, that we're not going to be able to. We're not going to be able to. So the commitment is this: think of something, and I went over this a couple weeks ago, and I believe in the three brothers. Think of something that if gone or if you had to endure, you'd be the most upset about. So think about the things that would bring you to the most horror, the most misery, those things that like, wow, if this happened and I had to endure this, like this is terrible. And then how about this? Start thanking God this week for having it. So I've said this before. I really don't like when my nose is plugged because of claustrophobia. I hate that. And another one is I'm not good with death, right? And so like I've had really bad experiences with animals dying and people dying. And people have these experiences. They're like, "Oh, my grandpa died in his sleep," and it's like, "Oh, that's nice." That's these aren't the kind of experiences I've had. They're more traumatizing, where it's just like horrible deaths, just horrible deaths. And so it's like every night that I can go to sleep and there isn't like I can breathe through my nose and I'm not stressing about some animal or some person suffering and in the process of dying. It's like, man, that's the worst thing. I know I'm gonna have to experience those things in my life. I know it, but I'm not having to experience it tonight. And so thank you, God, that tonight is one of those nights I don't have to be experiencing this. Thank you. And I started thanking God for those things every single night. And it's made a big difference in my life. And so think about those things that are the hardest for you to endure, the things that you can just, man, I could not picture if this happened to my kid or if this happened to my wife and start, hey, do you ever thank God that didn't happen? Maybe we should start doing that every day.
Amen. Great point, great spiritual thought, and great commitment. Yeah. Gratitude while the sun shines, man. Gratitude while the sun shines. So easy to not do, but so easy to do. Such an easy thing to do, and yet so easy to not do and not think about. And then when things go sour, aren't we so quick to jump on our knees and plead and beg and come crawling back and asking for stuff? Yeah. So I think
I've
I
never
think
prayed
everyone's
harder.
guilty of this to a degree. Yeah. And I've had things happen even not long ago, and it's like, please, Heavenly Father, please, 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 I need you right now. And it's like,
Yep.
how grateful am I that when things are good, when things are fine, like I could always be better at that. Yeah. So really good thought. I love this thought process to think about those things now and to be grateful for them. It's a really good thought experiment.
Yeah, because
Mm.
you're right. I've never prayed harder than in those
Oh,
moments, and just like I
I
need you
know.
right now. And then
Yep.
when it's gone, it's like, why am I not thanking him every day that I'm
Yeah,
not having
yeah.
to go through that again?
And because my thought is like when I do that, when I'm like, holy moly, Heavenly Father, I need you now more than ever, then the thought comes in, what if I don't get what I need right now because I wasn't grateful or wasn't,
Oh
when the
yeah,
sun was shining? You know, and what if it's
Yep.
my fault for not, and being my own fault for doing that, my own reason for not receiving the blessing. Do you know what I mean? Because it was my own doing.
Yep.
That plagues me, and I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, you don't want that to be the thought in your head when you need the Lord to bless you for something or help you with something desperately. It's not the thought you want to have in your head.
Nope.
Yeah. So prepare beforehand. Yeah. Really good. Good commitment.
Brought to you by Canada. That's it. Well, that's it.
That's it.
Oh,
That's
that's it.
it.
We did it. We did it. We're down one. We killed one. Canada's number one enemy came in and took him out. But you got to take all three of us out, or Canada's going to keep broadcasting, folks. We love you. Thanks for joining us on this week with two of your favorite, three brothers. And we'll see you next week.
Love you, brothers and sisters. Bye-bye.
Bye.